Namaste. One of the most basic and fundamental skills and the foundation upon which academic learning gets built is reading. While every child follows their own unique timeline, most children begin to read independently between the ages of 6 and 7. Some children click as early as the age of 4, and some children, even by the age of 8, they are not able to read independently. Parents and teachers both felt that something was wrong, but they did not know what exactly and what to do about it. For the child, it is exhausting, frustrating, and really hard. Also, because child is not able to read properly, he or she starts to fall behind in other subjects as well. So today's video is about the science of reading. When parents and teachers observe that some children are able to read fluently and independently, and others are not able to do so, there is a tendency to relate it to the intelligence of the child. Whereas it is not exactly linked, it cannot be exactly linked to the intelligence of the child. If a child is not reading fluently and independently, it is only because the child has not been taught how to read properly. First of all, we have to understand that human beings' brains were not naturally meant to read. We learn to speak, we learn to walk, we learn to talk naturally, but reading doesn't come naturally to us. We have to develop the skill of reading, and it is one of the most complex things we ask the young mind to do. There is a huge body of research on reading and how reading works. But sadly, it is seen that it has not been incorporated into the way our teachers are trained or how the children are taught to read in schools. So now let's understand what exactly is the science of reading. So everyone agrees that the role of reading is to comprehend the text. Now, how does a little child get there? To understand this, I will try to explain a simple equation, and this equation is about the simple view of reading. Here we see reading comprehension is equal to decoding multiplied by language comprehension. I will explain once again. Reading comprehension is equal to decoding multiplied by language comprehension. Now, what is language comprehension? Language comprehension is the ability to understand spoken language. So we have to be very clear about how can we achieve reading comprehension. Reading comprehension can be achieved by decoding and language comprehension, and it is the product of decoding and language comprehension. So what happens is that if the language comprehension of a child is not so good, the reading comprehension is affected. Similarly, if the decoding ability of the child is also not good, then again the reading comprehension is affected. So for the child to be reading fluently and independently, it is very important that our children should have decoding skills as well as language comprehension skills. Let us see how this applies to learning how to read. Actually, it starts even before the child starts school. In fact, it starts from the time the child is born. Every sound that the child hears, every conversation, every bedtime story that the child hears helps the child to develop language comprehension skills. The sounds that the child hears, it is recorded and it acts as a library of sounds and words in the child's brain. So it's very important for parents to understand that parents need to have a conversation, or child needs to hear as many different kinds of sounds as possible. That is the reason why most of the children entering school have language comprehension skills. That is, they are able to understand the meaning of the spoken language, but they don't have decoding skills. So in the school, we need to give them decoding skills as well as language comprehension skills. That is the reason why in NEP 2020 also, when the child starts Bal Vatika, we insist on telling them lots of stories. There should be conversation between the teacher and the parent, and also parents should tell lots of bedtime stories to the children so that the language comprehension skills of the child is developed properly. Once the language comprehension skills of the child is developed by orally speaking or the child listening orally to the parent or the teacher, then only we need to develop the decoding skills. So once decoding and language comprehension skills are fully developed, then the child is able to read fluently and independently. So the next step for developing reading comprehension is to develop the decoding skills in the children. The decoding skills is phonemic awareness and phonics. Research has found that skilled readers do not use cues, context, and guessing of the words. So inside the classroom, is it a good idea to help the children with cues and contexts, or asking them to guess the words when they are starting to learn to read? Actually, research has found that it is not a good idea to use pictures, cues and contexts, etc. to help the child to read. What should be done then? What is the solution? The solution is to help the child to read out the words. After helping the child to decode the words, help the child to read the words aloud. Research shows that skilled readers can accurately and immediately process tens of thousands of words on sight. Now, human brain, which is not naturally made for reading, how did this brain develop this kind of ability? Now, this kind of ability is developed through a process known as orthographic mapping. It's basically the process we use to store printed words in our long-term memory. That is, how a written word is spelled and linking that sequence of letters to the pronunciation and meaning of the word. That is orthographic mapping. So basically, teachers and parents have to understand that the child is not able to read properly, fluently and independently. It is not because the child is less intelligent, it is because the child has not been taught to read properly. So now, hope this video will be useful to all the teachers and parents out there who find their children struggling to read. Once you understand orthographic mapping, decoding, and language comprehension skills, every child in your class or every parent will see that their children are able to develop reading comprehension skills satisfactorily. Thank you.